Alright guys, buckle up, because this might be the craziest boxing story of the year. I'm not exaggerating when I say this could change the entire landscape of AJ versus Jake Paul. Because what you're about to see is Anthony Joshua, Olympic gold medalist, two-time heavyweight champion, global superstar, bringing in none other than Oleksandr Usyk. Yes, the same Oleksandr Usyk who beat AJ twice. The same man who also beat Tyson Fury. The same guy who is literally considered one of the smartest, trickiest, most technical fighters alive. And he is now inside Anthony Joshua's camp, training with him, sparring with him, coaching him, and helping AJ prepare for Jake Paul. If that sentence alone didn't blow your mind, trust me, what actually happened inside that camp is even crazier. Because this is not some quick PR link-up. This isn't AJ grabbing a photo for Instagram. This is real work, real sweat, real lessons, and real strategy being built behind closed doors. And today, we're breaking down every single detail. Why Usyk is there, what he's teaching AJ, how this affects Jake Paul, and what AJ's team is cooking up behind the scenes to make sure December 19th is a nightmare for Jake. Because let me tell you right now, Jake Paul has no idea what's coming. Let's get inside the camp. So the story starts a few days ago when AJ quietly flew out to link up with Usyk's team. At first, nobody took it seriously. People thought it was just mutual respect, two professionals catching up, maybe filming some content together. And then the cameras came on, and you see AJ in full training gear. You see Usyk in full training gear. And then you hear AJ say something that basically set the internet on fire. He goes, "The first session was not good at all. The second one was a bit better, but still not good enough. There's another level we've got to go to." Think about what that means. Anthony Joshua, a man known for power, physique, discipline, is straight up admitting that Usyk pushed him into waters he didn't expect. And this is before the actual hard sparring even begins. That tells you just how serious this camp link-up is. AJ isn't just sharpening up, he's rebuilding himself. He's learning a completely new layer of boxing, and he's learning it from the guy who literally solved him twice. That's like Goku training with Vegeta after Vegeta beat him. It's insane. And when you watch the footage, Usyk is coaching him like he's one of his own students. You see him adjusting AJ's footwork, getting him to stay loose, improving his reactions, teaching him how to disguise his power, and even walking AJ through the same movements he used against him on fight night. But here's where things get scary, because AJ's team did not bring Usyk in to help Joshua beat Tyson Fury, or Deontay Wilder, or Daniel Dubois. No. They brought Usyk in to help Joshua beat Jake Paul. Let that sink in. Joshua and his team are treating Jake Paul like a real opponent. Not a joke, not a sideshow. They are treating this like a legacy fight, and they're building a game plan around elite-level technical mastery. And Usyk himself explained why he's there. The interviewer asked him about AJ versus Jake Paul, and Usyk didn't hesitate. He said, "Size doesn't matter. If size mattered, the king of the animals would be the elephant. You must first scale your mind." That right there is pure Usyk philosophy. Jake Paul has size. Jake Paul has power. Jake Paul has confidence. But Usyk is saying, none of that matters if your mind isn't sharp enough. And for the first time, AJ is actually listening to someone who beat him. AJ is absorbing everything like a sponge. This is huge. Now the next big moment comes from Johnny Nelson, who basically said something that should terrify Jake Paul fans. He said, "Tyson Fury can do everything Usyk does, but he's a bigger version of him." And then he adds that AJ training with Usyk is the smartest thing he could have done, because Usyk's footwork, movement, angles, rhythm, that's exactly the type of style Jake Paul has never seen before. Jake relies on people freezing. He relies on people being predictable. He relies on controlling the tempo. But in this camp, Joshua is learning how to break tempo, how to disrupt puzzles, how to turn Jake's pressure back on him. And he's learning it from one of the best puzzle solvers in boxing history. Now here's where Joe Rogan enters the chat. Because Joe Rogan has talked about Usyk a million times, about how unique he is, how complicated he is, how smart he is. And Rogan said something recently that basically predicts AJ's advantage perfectly. He's so talented, he's so small for a heavyweight. His non-stop movement and footwork, it's unlike anybody else. Joshua didn't know what to do with him.
Well, guess what?
Now Joshua does know what to do with him, and he's learning how to become that nightmare for Jake Paul. If Jake thought he was fighting the AJ who fought Franklin, Wallin, Hellenius, he's mistaken. This is an Usyk-powered Joshua, a hybrid version, a smarter version, a more fluid version, a version that doesn't just rely on big muscles and big punches. He now has technique behind the technique. And this is exactly what Jake struggles with. He struggled with Anderson Silva's awkward rhythm. He struggled with Nate Diaz's pressure. He struggled with Tommy Fury's jab. And those guys are nowhere near Usyk's level. Now let's talk about Eddie Hearn, because he has been gaslighting this fight from the start. People thought Hearn was just hyping the matchup, but now it's clear. Hearn is building a master plan, and he openly said, "This isn't about marketing. This is about Anthony Joshua sharpening his mind, body, and training setup." Translation: Jake Paul is being treated as a legitimate threat, and AJ is not taking any shortcuts. No exhibition energy, no easy win energy. This is real preparation. Adam Smith doubled down and said, "Joshua felt he needed more one-on-one personal tuition, and he's always learning. He's a sponge." That's exactly the version of AJ that is dangerous. A version that's inspired, a version that's learning, a version that's evolving. Jake Paul has no idea he's about to face the most mentally locked-in Anthony Joshua we've seen in years. Now let's talk about Fury's reaction, because Fury did what Fury always does, tried to spin the narrative, throw insults, and get into AJ's head. But this time, it didn't work. Fury started rambling with his usual sausage lines, calling AJ a bodybuilder, saying he won't sign the contract. But the difference now is that AJ doesn't care. The mental games don't matter, because Usyk has AJ focused on strategy, not ego. AJ looks calmer, sharper, more serious. This guy is dialed in like it's life or death. And the moment Usyk laughed off Fury's comments, saying he focuses on skill over size, you could see AJ absorb that energy. Usyk has made AJ confident again, but confident in the right way. Confident in the brain, not just the biceps. Now here's a part people are not talking about enough. This camp with Usyk is showing AJ something he never understood properly before. Stamina-based boxing. Jake Paul fades. That is the one thing every single analyst agrees on. Once you get him into the late rounds, his power goes down and his mistakes go up. Usyk is the master of draining you mentally. He makes you think. He makes you miss. He makes you second-guess everything. Imagine Joshua applying even half of that to Jake Paul. Jake swings big. AJ steps back 1 inch. Jake misses. AJ counters. Jake gets frustrated. AJ keeps the tempo high. Jake starts panicking. That is a recipe for disaster. And AJ now understands how that system works. Duke McKenzie said AJ still has terrible habits. But guess what? That's exactly why training with Usyk is perfect. Usyk is literally fixing those habits in real time. Footwork, balance, defense, angles, composure. You can see AJ moving differently already. The head movement is sharper. The jab is snappier. The shoulders are looser. He's not loading up on everything. He's setting traps. This is the version of AJ that can end the Jake Paul hype train in brutal fashion. Now, Joe Gallagher brought up AJ's inactivity and said Joshua needs to sharpen up with more rounds. And guess what? Usyk is giving him more ring IQ in 1 week than AJ has learned in an entire year. Sparring with Usyk is like sparring with a chess computer. Every mistake you make gets exposed immediately. Every habit you rely on gets neutralized instantly. Jake Paul has never fought someone with even 30% of Usyk's skill level. And the craziest part? Usyk is enjoying training AJ. He's not just being polite, he's fully invested. He wants AJ to beat Jake Paul. And when the trainer who beat you twice wants you to win, that's a dangerous alliance. Spencer Brown said something that sums this whole camp up perfectly. Don't write him off. We've written AJ off before, and that's the truth. Every time AJ is counted out, he reinvents himself. After Ruiz, he came back smarter. After Usyk, he rebuilt his confidence. And now, after all the criticism, memes, doubts, and social media noise, AJ is coming back with a vengeance. And this time, for the first time in a long time, AJ looks like he's actually having fun again. He's smiling in the gym. He's joking with Usyk. He's flowing. And a happy AJ is a dangerous AJ. Now let's talk about the actual game plan and what AJ is expected to do on fight night. Usyk is teaching him how to control the distance against a smaller opponent, how to create traps and force reactions, how to throw combinations at weird angles, how to break Jake's rhythm, how to punish him for loading up on that overhand right, and most importantly, how to stay calm. Jake Paul is a chaos fighter. He needs drama. He needs people reacting emotionally. When you don't react, he falls apart. And that's what Usyk is teaching AJ, to treat Jake like a puzzle, not a threat. If AJ applies even 50% of this, the fight will look easy. But that's the scary part for Jake. AJ isn't just applying 50%. He's applying everything. The man is obsessed. December 19th might actually be the greatest mismatch Jake has ever walked into. And here's the final twist that nobody expected. Usyk himself gave his prediction. They asked him who wins, AJ or Jake Paul. Usyk simply smiled and said, maybe Anthony Joshua. Knockout. Points. I don't know. That smile said everything. He knows Joshua is ready. He knows Joshua is sharp. And he knows Jake Paul is not prepared for this level of strategy. So to wrap this up, here's the truth. Anthony Joshua is not preparing for Jake Paul the way people think. He's not training for a knockout. He's not training to overpower him. He's training to outbox him, to outsmart him, to dismantle him. He's training like he's fighting for a world title. He's training like this is his redemption arc. And he's training with Oleksandr Usyk, the man who perfected the art of making bigger, stronger men look lost. Jake Paul is stepping into the ring with an Anthony Joshua who is smarter, faster, calmer, and more dangerous than any version we've seen in years. This is not going to be a YouTuber versus boxer fight. This is going to be an execution. December 19th. Jake Paul has no idea what's coming.